When we were discussing about the memorandum, this is what we said, that a memorandum formalizes the audit planning procedure. Audit planning. It is a requirement of the auditing standard, and I think we had mentioned ISA 300 that whenever you are doing an audit planning, you must come up with a document that formalizes the audit planning memorandum. And that document is called Audit Planning Memorandum. This document contains, among other elements, item number 1, the scope of audit. Scope of audit work. If you ask me what is scope of audit, I'll tell you it is work to be done. Work to be done. So as an auditor, it is good whenever you are writing a program, not a program but a plan, you tell us exactly what work are you doing. In auditing, we do audit, but you can also be requested to perform a number of other services, for example, accounting, and that one should also be included there. So auditing and non-audit services should be included in the scope so that you can be able to know which work you are going to be doing. There is also the number of reports that you're supposed to provide. For example, the audit report, the management letter, the letter may be of engagement. All those letters, we need to find them in this particular scope paragraph. So the scope paragraph in the planning memorandum will carry the work to be done and maybe the reports that are supposed to be communicated to the user of the financial statement as well as the shareholder. Number 2 element is the background information, and I won't discuss much on this because previously we had covered issues relating to obtaining the knowledge of the client. Under the background information, we said it is good for an auditor to document the areas of knowledge, areas of understanding of the client. For example, do you know the industry in which the client is operating? Do you know the entity factors that maybe the client is dealing with? Do you know the objectives of the client, issues like business risk of the client, and issues relating maybe to other factors affecting the client? There is issues relating to internal control system, issues relating maybe to performances. This is what we had mentioned in the audit planning previous lesson relating to the stages of audit planning. Number 3 element is the materiality levels. Materiality levels. At the planning level, you need to tell us the materiality threshold. Are you using 2% of turnover, or are you using 1% or 10% of profit before tax as the materiality threshold? Or you can even go ahead and tell us if you're using the net asset, you're using 2% of the total net assets. If you can tell us about that one, then you have documented or you have maybe recorded that materiality setting or materiality level. When planning, as you can see from that particular case, we are saying it is good you state the timetable of key events. So the timetable in the audit plan contains the key events that will be taken in that particular audit, the key events and the timing of those key events. Timing of those key events. For example, when we are doing the audit, it is good we go ahead and state the date of the AGM. Date of AGM. Working from the date of the AGM, we can know when we are going to be signing the auditor's report. Sign of report. That is very, very crucial. And we can know when we are going to be completing the audit work. Date of completion of the audit. Date of audit completion. We need to know exactly other dates. For example, it is very, very important to know the date of visiting the client, the date of conducting a stock take, if there will be a date of cash count and the date of head count. All those dates should be arranged properly so that they can be able to be helpful in completing the audit objective. Remember, from the definition of the audit planning, we are saying it is determining in advance. So it is good you determine in advance the dates and the timetable of the key events, when the key events will be taking place and what will be involved in those particular key events. That's what we have in the timetable. Once you come up with a timetable, it is good also now you tell us the number of staff who are going to be involved, the approach, the budget, and the location. So let me explain those other items that you're going to be putting in place in the planning memorandum. If you design a planning memorandum and you have come up with a timetable, We need also you to come up with what we refer to as the number of staff required. This, in other cases, we call it staffing arrangements. The staffing arrangements. The staffing arrangements will define a number of things. In most cases, in an audit firm, you realize that the key staff who are working in an audit firm starts with one guy called an audit partner. And we need to know the partner in charge of that particular audit. That should be defined in the audit planning memorandum. The other thing that we need to know is who is the audit manager in that particular audit. That is the second senior staff in an audit firm. In an audit firm, we need to know who is the manager in charge. Then there is another person, we call him an audit senior. And an audit senior is also a very senior person in an organization who is supposed to mostly to be reviewing the work of the junior. But even if we have an audit senior, we may have another person, we refer to him as auditor or accountant in charge. And we still have now audit assistants, audit clerks, audit trainees, all will be forming part of the staff. So we need to identify those particular staff and explain in our memorandum the people who are going to be in charge of a particular engagement. So if you're going to engage a partner, a manager, a senior auditor, an auditor in charge as well as a trainee, you need to tell us. If again you will also engage other type of staff, for example, when the audit is complex in nature, it is good you engage an expert. Tell us the nature of the experts and the type of the work that he's going to be doing. For example, if you're going to be using a valuer, it is good you determine in advance a valuer's firm that is maybe of competence and capability that you're looking for. And that is very important whenever you are selecting the staff. So the number of staff is also referred to as the engagement team. It defines the total number of experts as well as the audit staff that are going to be engaged in the audit engagement. So that was number 4, timetable, and this here is number 5, which is representing what? The staffing arrangements. Then from there, we can introduce another element.